Hey guys, Ralph here. True Power Trumpet Fitness. Yeah, beautiful Wednesday here in Connecticut. It's about 2 o'clock, which means I've had a busy morning. If I don't get to this till the afternoon, things have been busy, but that's fine. When you're running your own business, yeah, it's a good thing. I ran 3 miles, I biked 20, did some kettlebell, taught a little bit, trumpet. Did have some kettlebell class. Also had a couple consultations with people about their weight and whatnot. So it was a great morning, afternoon too. But here we are, and I haven't gotten to it, so this is a little late. But I have played today, so this is not the first notes of the day. Yeah, but let's get to it, because this is something that's kind of near and dear to me. All right. That is a little ditty from Canzona, Personari number 9 by Giovanni Gabrieli. Loved. Still do. Love Gabrieli. Quintet playing, orchestra playing, and that is sort of what brings me to the topic today. With the advent of this YouTube, which is going on about 9 months now, man, that didn't take long. Time flies when you're having fun, I guess. But with the advent of this YouTube channel, we had a lot of discussions about tone and style, and I prefer the older, stronger players as opposed to the younger players and all this sort of stuff. And a lot has been talked about that, but I want to make it absolutely 100% clear where I'm coming from. Now, and I think I can do it with this. Now, with that said, each one of us has a sound in our mind. Who knows where it came from? It's probably a combination of a lot of things. It's probably not one single thing that got to this. I know mine is a combination of Maynard Ferguson and Horst Fischer, Herseth, Mel Broyles, Vacchiano. I mean, it's a combination of things, okay? And yours is probably the same thing. It's probably not one single thing that you just kept in there forever. But we all have a concept of sound, no matter what our background is, of what we want to sound like. When we pick up that instrument, that is what we want to come out the end of the bell, okay? And what's in my mind does not have to be in your mind. But a lot has been said, a lot of controversy, in the infighting and everything with the styles and who's better and who's this, and my top 5 and all this. Doesn't mean anything. But the point is, I wanted to get across exactly what I hear in my mind when I'm picking up the trumpet. Okay, now with that said, I'm going to take it to the first time I got to New York. Okay, I did have quite a diverse career for an 18-year-old kid, 17-year-old kid when I came to New York, in high school. Playing career up in Portland, Maine. It was quite an active musical scene at that point. Now, this is quite a while ago. But when I came to New York, I was right off the potato truck, man. I hadn't heard a lot of things. I really hadn't on the grand scheme of things. But to sit with Vacchiano and Broyles, I mean, trumpet royalty every week, and just be, being able to hear all the things that are going on. Like I told you, we constantly went to New York Philharmonic rehearsals. And the rage at that time, even though all of us were studying with people from the New York Philharmonic, the rage at that time was the brass section of the Chicago Symphony. And in particular, my man, Adolph Herseth. Now, he is not in my top 5 for one reason. I told you I consider Mel Broyles my all-time number 1. That is because Mel did a lot more styles of music than Herseth did. Not that Herseth couldn't. Herseth was God and could have played anything he wanted to, okay? But he said many times, I can think of no greater musical experience than playing first trumpet with the Chicago Symphony and playing a Mahler Symphony. He thinks that is the ultimate. He did very, very little solo work. He did the Brandenburg. He did a couple Haydns, a Hummel. But he wasn't doing a lot of solo stuff like Mel did, like Phil Smith has done, and a lot of people do. He just didn't do that. He was very, very content being the first trumpet player with the Chicago Symphony. And boy, was he great at it. Okay? So that's the only reason he's not in my top 5. But I will say this, and I've said it before, I do believe wholeheartedly he was the best orchestral player that ever lived, even better than Mel. I liked his tone better than Mel. And that is what is here today. Okay? Adolph Herseth. Now, and the Chicago Symphony. You'll see in a minute. That all comes to fruition here. Now, take a look at it. Man, are those chops beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful. I mean, I could compare them next to Maurice and all that sort of stuff, but they are so beautiful. Now, there is 2 recordings that you can get right on YouTube that I want you to listen to, just for the sound, okay? Number 1, the Chicago Symphony Brass plays Gabrielli. Thus the Canzone Personare. Now, it is not quintet playing that the Personare comes from. This is the full brass ensemble, Carl Spizzati, which had a lot of visiting artists, Joe Leslie and Phil Smith from the New York Philharmonic. But the star of the show was Herseth. And wait until you hear this. Now, Gabrielli, whether it's your cup of tea or not, and you don't have to listen to the whole thing. It's close to an hour, I believe, the entire thing. And whether it's your cup of tea or not, if you're a jazz guy or something, you're not going to love it. But listen to the sound. Listen to the sound that these guys make. And now Herseth, this was sort of, he had already announced his retirement. So this was sort of a big hurrah for him to come out front and center. And he did not play the first piece. And you'll hear the difference. The minute he gets there, oh my God, 82 years old, relaxed as can be. Relaxed as can be now. Now, Gabrielli is not demanding in the traditional sense chop-wise. It really doesn't go over above a G or an A on top of the staff. But it sits so beautifully for trumpet. He plays C trumpet. It can be played very, very easily on B-flat trumpet. But it is glorious. The power that he just naturally the ease of playing that just leads the way but still blends, it is absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Check it out. That is what I'm talking about. That is what is in my mind when I want to play the trumpet. Okay? Now, Mark Gould himself, who was the former assistant principal at the Met and a top player for many, many years, said he sounded like Maynard Ferguson playing in the orchestra. Beautiful, beautiful description. He says his 3 idols were Harry Glantz, Maynard Ferguson, and Harry James. And even though the style-wise it is very subdued, so it fits beautifully in the orchestra, it is very centered, brilliant, and very, very much like Harry James. Very, very much like that. That is what was in his head. Okay? Now, there's one other one that I want you to listen to. And this one, it goes quite long, so you can skip around a little bit. Okay? And that is, now there's lots of different ones. Get this one, though. This one is just brilliant. The Chicago Symphony plays Pictures at an Exhibition plus Encore. If you Google that, that will come up. And it's a performance, I'm taking for granted it was towards the end of his career, too. That he, again, in his 80s. And Pictures at an Exhibition, I understand it was in Japan. Okay? I want you to listen to the Promenade, which is just a couple minutes at the beginning. Glorious, glorious trumpet solo as well as full brass sound. And jump to number, I have this written down, 2730. That is the marking on the bottom. Jump to that if you don't want to listen to the whole thing, and listen to the final part of The Great Gate of Kiev. Oh my God. That is, to my ear, it. And it's not, if you listen, it's not just him. It's the entire brass section and the entire orchestra. They all play with the same concept, plus Schulte. You look at Schulte's face and you see he was just reveling. He couldn't have been happier listening to what this instrument was pouring forth. And guys, that is what I listen to. That is what I strive to. Sometimes, some days I get it, some days I don't, right? But in all due respect, and I don't want to start another bidding war about who's better and who's not, nobody's coming close to that. Nobody's coming close, not only as a singular trumpet player, but an overall brass section, an overall orchestra, plus the genius of Schulte to lead the way. Sublime. Anyway, I hope you enjoy. I hope you enjoy, because Lord knows over the years I have. Okay, have a great day. Eat your fruits and vegetables, and we'll talk again tomorrow. Love you all. Live your life with true power.